Okay, hi guys. So I want to answer a very specific question, and this is a redo of the last Facebook Live when a lot of y'all couldn't hear me. So I wanted to redo it again. So I want to answer a very specific question, which is, what does falling asleep on their own mean in aware parenting? It means something a little bit different than traditional. So I'm going to kind of go through that. In order to really get the full picture, if you're new to aware parenting, you'll need some additional info about the whole picture and the how-to. So I'm going to leave some of that information in the comments afterwards. So this is meant to give you a little bit of a framework, and this is ages 0 to 2. So if we don't answer your questions with this may just give you some new insight and a springing off point to go and get some more information. So what does falling asleep on their own mean traditionally? Let's look at that first. So traditionally, it means, usually advice means having your baby fall asleep on their own in their own space or in their own bedroom. So it can mean they might be alone, or you might be near, but not necessarily next to, so kind of on their own, meaning by themselves. So, and also sometimes it refers to having them fall asleep in the place where they're going to wake up. So in aware parenting, it's a little different. The falling asleep on their own means you don't have to do anything to get your baby to sleep or put them to sleep. So we also, in aware parenting, recognize a need for closeness, a legitimate need for closeness at falling asleep time. And this is true across mammals. All the babies of all land mammals sleep in close proximity to their mothers. So the emphasis here is falling asleep on their own. The overnight wakings, that's a little bit of a different topic. So we're just focusing on falling asleep on their own right now. So with this approach, your baby may still be in arms, or you may be lying next to your baby. But the idea is that you don't have to do anything to put them to sleep or to get them to sleep. And for children, this can remain a legitimate need for a few years. So the next natural discussion there is, do you feel like you have to do something to put your baby to sleep? And this also can seem counterintuitive at first, because there's a big assumption in society that babies need to be taught sleep, and we'll get into how these things all get connected in a minute. But just consider, do you end up having to do something or wanting to do something to get your baby to sleep, or will they just fall asleep in your arms if you hold them? So it's things like nursing to sleep habitually, using a pacifier for sleep or to get them to sleep, bouncing, walking, shushing, those kinds of things. A swaddle, depending on the age, just for the lights. So you sometimes, if you have kind of the whole routine of the swaddle, the lights, the sound, etc., if it's something like that, or if you feel like your baby will make you do something in order for them to fall asleep, that's kind of the realm that we're working in here. Just gonna move my notes up. I have to watch my notes to keep myself on track, because I have a ton to say about this topic. So how do you get to this point where your baby will fall asleep on their own? This is where I'm not going to go into a full how-to, so I'll leave you some links. But the key is that there's a reason your baby is not relaxing fully enough to be able to sleep. So what we're looking at is the underlying needs why is your baby not relaxing fully? Why are they not sleeping? It's typically related to some pent-up stress or big feelings, early experiences that haven't been processed. So, so be curious if there's something that you do around sleep time to get your baby to sleep. If you didn't do that thing, what would happen? Would your baby cry? And if at this point your baby wouldn't cry necessarily, think back to earlier times when you first started. Whatever your favorite method of doing this is, if you didn't do that at that time, would they have cried? So, like if you didn't give the pacifier or nurse to sleep, and this is nursing beyond hunger. Nursing is amazing. Um, or bounce or walk or whatever. If you didn't do that thing, would your baby sleep? So the key here, the golden ticket to know is that that crying beyond immediate needs is your friend. That's the magic. That is that it's about crying itself beyond immediate needs, being a need in itself. So it's about stress release and a healing mechanism. It's in arms. This is very different from cry it out. Very, very different. This is in arms, in relationship, in presence. So a little bit about how these things all get connected is those pent-up feelings often arise around sleep. So when they're tired and they're more vulnerable, and then parents understandably want to do something to stop the crying. So then you have the feelings, the crying, the sleep, and whatever the preferred method of stopping the crying is, they all kind of get stuck together sometimes, and associated into one big thing, so that whatever that preferred method is will end up happening around sleep and will become the habitual thing about getting them to sleep. So what this means is parents can end up feeling like you have to actively do something to get them to sleep, or else they won't sleep. And then what that means is that without having that information about the cry release, that most advice then will kind of bypass inadvertently that need for stress release crying and end up teaching that babies need to be taught that they need to learn sleep, um, and that they need to learn how to fall asleep by themselves or without you, which is how that advice arrives to falling asleep on their own. Which is where it's very different from aware parenting on falling asleep on their own, meaning you don't have to do anything to put them to sleep. So I hope that's a little bit of a clearer delineation, or helps you understand that difference, because that is a top question. So what to do then to get to that point? It's called Crying in Arms. I will leave some links in the notes. And just kind of in summary, to look at what is the true need around sleep. So it's not that baby needs to be taught to sleep. Now, this looks different across different ages, so right now I'm focused on baby. But yes, the true need is around closeness at falling asleep time, and stress release, and they innately know that they need to do something to relax, let off some steam, so to speak, just like we do, in order to relax fully. There are additional considerations for babies who are particularly sensitive, for new motor stages, food or environmental reactions or sensitivities, ongoing family stress, certain family situations. There are some other layers to this, so it can sound very black and white, but it's not always quite so black and white. So look at my notes again to see if I missed anything I wanted to tell y'all. So, just about knowing that sleep is innate for your child. And if sleep is challenging, that's very real. And in Aware Parenting, what we're doing is looking at what is the underlying need. Always about what is your child communicating and showing us. So, what I love about this approach is that it really comes out of a mindset of fully respecting your child as a person and just getting radically honest and authentic with what is your baby showing us? What's going on under there? Because what we want to do is literally uncover their innate ability to sleep, and really meet them where they are with connection and relationship. So I will, again, after this, I'll leave some links in the comments. Feel free to reach out with questions or if you want support. Um, yeah, so just wanted to speak to this question about what falling asleep on their own means. Okay, so enjoy your babies and be in touch. And thanks for watching. Bye.